Hey, what's going on, guys? Devil18 Set Shadow here. So there have been some movements on the smaller side for a number of premiums and a few other cards going. So let's go ahead and get into today's market watch, starting with the promo version of Nature's Guidance, which before I had talked about how this card had been going up in price past 7, and right now it does have a few $5 copies that are still left on the market, but it's getting to a point of $10 and higher when it comes to the overall quantities that are on the market for this. As this card is a staple for Forest Craft, it looks like the premium market is finally starting to keep up on some of these staples, and Nature's Guidance is just one good example of that. One other card that has been seeing a buyout recently is Knuckle Dragon. The base legendary is currently sitting at about 1150, and it only has 3 listings right now. The evolved versions are still very easy to pick up. Between the super legendary and the regular one, it's about $2 to $8 on the rarities, and then the super legendary of the base form is currently at about $17, a little higher than its market price of $13.56. But it's moving. And then you also have the attack form available right now as one of the other options for Evo, and right now you can pick that up for $220 to about $850 depending on which rarity you want to pick up there. It's also worth noting, since it's available to see here, that Knuckle Dragon, especially its evolved form, is still holding in price around $4 or $5 right now, which I covered that before some time back, but it's still up there, which still makes sense given that it is a gold Evo. But it is getting a promo reprint once we get to the next series of Shadowverse Evolve competitive circuits. It'll still be some time before that happens, though, so I wouldn't imagine too much of any decrease anytime soon. Now we get into some of the premiums, like Alice's Adventure, where this one is actually going down in comparison to others. This one had a market price of about $406, but recently sales of this card have gone to closer to $3, and available listings have... There are a number of them for around $3 right now, and then they eventually move their way back up to 4 when it comes to having more quantity. But if you do want to pick this up, it's looking like Haven Burnegg is still likely to be capable going forward for a number of formats, so just keep your eye on that one too. Dimension Shift, the premium had been bought out at some time in the past, and it's still holding at a decent value right now. 5 listings overall, and it's still selling for about almost $650. But the only copies available on the market are $15 plus, so we're not seeing any big sales right now of this card. Highest we've seen in the last month is $12.50, but it seems that as soon as something hits the $6 mark, it just gets eaten up really fast. So if you happen to run into a copy that's under $8, it might be a good idea to pick that up, especially given D-Shift is looking to be one of the bigger cards coming in later formats. You've also got the premium version of Sorcery Cash, which is up in value as of the last 2 months from a market price of around $250-ish to almost $282. So not an enormous bump, but recent sales of this card have been over $3, closer to $350, and available listings start at around $350 as well, which is making this card a little harder to pick up. It's not a full staple, I'd say, given the vast amount of spells you can use for Runecraft, but it's certainly a good pick to help you mill out your spells for D-Shift. Then you've got Sacred Plea, which this one is a gold from set 1, but I do want to point out that this is still rising in value. over the last several months, it's been progressively increasing in market price to its current value of 84 cents, but it sells for $1 and in some cases lower than that. But most listings available right now are at least 50 cents, and then we start getting into $1 or higher when it comes to more quantities of the card. Sacred Plea is a card that you'll find in a lot of Havencraft decks, so as time passes, I can imagine it will still keep increasing in value. Then, of course, we've got Bellringer, which I'm going to be talking about the base rarities of both its base and Evo. Let's start with the base form, of course. This is one of the cards that's getting reprinted with the Glory Finder multiplayer deck set, but we're not going to be getting that for a number of months, and we're still in BSF format. Bellringer is moving its way back up to $20 again after falling out for a bit, and now available listings are just under 20. 1965 is the lowest, or actually it's more like 1880, but effectively you're looking at least $19 to pick up Bellringers right now. Then when it comes to the Evo version, this one has also been increasing in value, but not nearly as much as the base form. Even so, the pricing on this, the market price is now $3.70, so very close to $4. And sales of this have been almost $4. There have been a lot of $4 and even some $5 sales on this card as of the last several days. Available listings are $5 for the most part. There are a few that are a little cheaper, but keep in mind, even with the regular Bellringer going up, its Evo is also continuously increasing in value too. Ricokashimoto, which saw a spike some time back from just a $2-3 card. It's been going here and there between 15 and 20 these days, and now it's pretty low on listings for all of its quantities at this point, or all of its rarities, I should say. 8 listings for the regular legendary, 3 listings for the super legendary, but there are 4 listings available on the signed SP right now, which is more than there usually is there. Even so, from $19 to $29 for the 2 base rarities, that's significantly higher than what this card used to be, and I imagine it will hold for some time as this card does see play in multiple formats that are coming. And our last card for today is Silent Suzuka, which, despite the fact that this card comes out of the starter deck for Uma Musume, it's been holding some pretty good value. The base legendaries that you can pick up right now are both aligned at about $5 right now. And the Evos those are still cheaper to pick up. It's between $1 and $1.50 essentially. And the cheaper one is actually out of the main set versus the one that comes out of the starter deck, which is interesting to see. The signed versions are about in line with their market prices right now, at least for the base form, which is about $175. And then you've got the evolved version of this card at $150 to start off with, but its market price is $116. Forestcraft does see a lot of play of this card in most deck types right now. We'll see how it goes further down the line. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys later.